Welcome here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora on wakeupcalldt.com, your one-stop sports shop, and on mixlr.com/wakeupcalldt, as well as on Facebook Live on facebook.com/livenowdt, as well as on facebook.com/wakeupcalldt and youtube.com/wakeupcalldt. So however you're connected with the show, thank you so much for tuning in to this edition of Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports meets that thing called life. So happy to have you here inside of the broadcast. I hope you're all having yourselves a tremendous morning this morning. Got a lot of awesomeness coming up for you on today's broadcast. I am elated and privileged. You see the shirt right here with the name across the chest. Today is the official jump off of our multimedia marketing partnership with the Marywood University Pacers Athletics, and I'm so excited about this. Marywood University means the world to me. It's my alma mater, and to be able to jump off to, this is a very, very, very special day. This is a very special day for a lot of reasons, and I first and foremost just want to give a shout out to Marywood University, and big thanks to Marywood University for giving me the opportunity to do this and for helping us to have this multimedia marketing partnership together. And it does. It means the absolute world to me, more than the world to me. And I feel so blessed and so excited about this opportunity. So definitely want to say thank you to Marywood University. I want to say thank you to Pat Murphy, to Ann Bolin Chase, to Sister Mary Persico, to the entire athletic staff, because I'm very, very, very excited about everything that we're going to be able to do. Today is the official jump-off date, October 1st of 2021. It's a meaningful date because it is my birth month. It's a meaningful date because fellow Marywood University alum and my brother Ross Turetsky, today is his birthday. And so there's a lot of great stuff that's going on. So shout out to Ross, shout out to our Marywood Multimedia Marketing Partnership, and to everything that we get to do here. And I'm down in Florida broadcasting this week, and today is the official 50th anniversary of Magic Kingdom and Walt Disney World. So, and you can go check my Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter to get to see all the pictures that I had bringing Marywood University all the way to the 50th celebration of the Magic Kingdom and Walt Disney World. So you can check that out on Facebook at WakeUpCallDT, Twitter at CallDT, and Instagram at WakeUpCall_DT. Plenty of awesome show coming up from the Travel Cafe Kubal Studios. Cafe Kubal here with you in the community, 3501 James Street, 324 West Water Streat, 208 North Townsend Street, as well as 401 South Salina Street, all in Syracuse, and in downtown Syracuse, inside of Golisano's Children's Hospital. And, of course, you can find Cafe Kubal by also bringing yourself to 343 Fayette Street in Manlius, New York, in the giant behemoth of a brown-striped building. And, of course, you could find them also by going to their first ever drive-through location, which is on the corner of Route 11 and Taft Road in North Syracuse. So make sure you head out there today for Cafe Kubal. Inside the Cafe Kubal Studios, MonPazPopcorn.com's What's Poppin', giving you the list of topics for the day. And that will start off with our trio of signature segments we have every single Friday broadcast. In just a moment, we'll get to the annoying moment of the week, proudly presented by Carvel, DeWitt, 4322 East Genesee Street. It is what happy tastes like. At 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time, I'll be joined by Juanita Ward for our segment LEAD, which stands for Learn, Evolve, Ad-lib, and Deliver. That's what LEAD, the acronym, stands for. Proudly presented by Chick-fil-A Cicero and Chick-fil-A Clay. And make sure you go out and find them. Chick-fil-A Cicero, 7916 Brewerton Road in Cicero, New York. And you can also find your way over to Chick-fil-A Clay by going to the address right here that we have for you to get to Chick-fil-A Clay. And that is a little confusing because it's considered Liverpool. Liverpool, Clay, and Baldwinsville are all the same place, I'm convinced. So you can find your way over to Chick-fil-A Clay on 3974 State Route 31 in Liverpool. So it's in Liverpool, New York, though it's named Chick-fil-A Clay. I just want to make sure I make a note for that for you. Not that I need to tell you all how to find it, because the two Chick-fil-A's in Central and Upstate New York are always busy, but make sure you make your way out to 3974 State Route 31 in Liverpool for Chick-fil-A Clay, and 7916 Brewerton Road in Cicero, New York for Chick-fil-A Cicero. And then we'll get into our Top Dog of the Week announcement. That's proudly brought to you by K9 Kamp Dog Daycare and K9 Kampground Dog Boarding of East Syracuse, right around the corner from one another, right off of Bridge Street, across from where BJ's is. You'll find them there. And then we'll get into our first ever Pacer Pride Signature Special. Every single month, you're going to be seeing and hearing a segment called Pacer Pride. And so you'll see the Marywood Pacers logo, you'll hear the music, and that'll kick you off to whatever we're discussing and whoever our special guest is for that month. Pacer Pride starting today on October 1st at the top of the athletic department with the Executive Director of Athletics, Pat Murphy, joining me for an unforgettable special that you won't want to miss at 10:15 a.m. Eastern Time. So, as I said, awesome show, jam-packed show. I can't wait. You can't wait, so let's not wait. Let's jump into the annoying moment of the week, proudly presented by Carvel, DeWitt. I appreciate you so much for being here, folks, and thank you for being a part of Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports truly meets that thing called life, as we hop in to the annoying moment of the week.
Dan Tortora proudly brings you... Is that for real? Are you kidding me? The annoying moment of the week. I'm really honest. I don't know how to respond to this. Presented by Carvel DeWitt, 4322 East Genesee Street. It's what happy tastes like. You have to be that crazy. I guess so.
The annoying moment of the week, proudly presented by Carvel DeWitt, 4322 East Genesee Street in DeWitt, New York. It is what happy tastes like. My annoying moment of the week, it's got to do, I mean, there's a few different things that I can choose here, but one of the things that I'll choose for the annoying moment of the week is just how difficult it is to sometimes read our GPS. Now, a GPS is supposed to get you from point A to point B. It's its only job. It's not supposed to do anything else. It's literally supposed to take you from wherever you are to wherever you wish to go. And my GPS gets frustrating for me because there's, okay, so when I come down to visit my brother Evan, when I come down to visit him and I want to get to his home, I type in the address. So you would think that and I don't understand who chooses the recently viewed or recently whatever, because his never pops up. So I always have to, the whole point of me plugging it in is that I don't have to plug it in again. So I put in Evan's address and then I don't have to put in the Evan's address again. That's the whole point. That's what I'm trying to do. So that's where I get frustrated, because I'm sitting here thinking to myself, okay, so here's Evan's address, boop, 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 put it in there, and then you want it to save and be in your recently used or recently looked up or whatever they call it. And every single night when I come home, I have to literally start typing it in again. Luckily, it's there once I start typing it, but it's frustrating. The other part of it is, I'm driving, I'm doing my thing, and it's like where that break is, where it shows you the roads split, and there's like 3 roads, and this one goes this way, and then there's 2 that go this way, and it kind of looks like it wants you to go, but it doesn't tell you to go. They've gotten somewhat better by saying, make a left, go through this light, and then make a left. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. That's helpful. They didn't used to do that. They used to just show you the 2 lights and be like, choose one. Let's hope for the best. So go through the light, and it tries to tell you, don't go to this one, go to the next one. Okay, well, that's good. But sometimes it doesn't do that. Sometimes it isn't that helpful. Sometimes they make it more difficult. So, it does get frustrating to try and do this and to try and figure this stuff out sometimes. So it's got to be part of my annoying moment of the week is the GPS. The other part of my annoying moment of the week is when there's construction going on and it's not clear as to where you're supposed to go. Let's put it to you like this. Now, I love Disney. I want to preface this. I love Disney very, very much. I've always been a Disney kid. And Juanita and I are going to talk about being a big kid in the next segment here, which I'm very excited to be doing here in lead. So, I'm a big kid, and I love being a kid. And in being a big kid, Disney's a big part of my life. And I feel very privileged that I've been able to come down here my whole life. I want to thank my parents for that, and I want to thank God for that. And then, since then, I've been coming down on my own, and I'm thankful for that too, and the opportunity to continue to do that, to be able to afford it, to be able to spend time, with my family down here, and I don't know, it just means the world to me. Disney's a big part of my life. So with Disney being such a big part of my life, and feeling very privileged and honored to be able to have this time, I want to let it be known that I am frustrated with the entrance to Epcot currently because it doesn't make any sense. And again, this is where the GPS comes in. If you tell the GPS to go to Epcot, the GPS does not know that there's a detour. And the detour for Epcot will literally take you to Epcot to where the entrance is supposed to be, take you all the way around the park and to start over again. And so there's got to be an easier way to get there than having to go all the way around. Maybe that helps them out with saying, hey, listen, we can get less people in here if we piss them off enough. So, you know what I mean? But I mean, for me, it's frustrating to have to go through. And it's not just Epcot. It's when there's a sign for something and it's not really clear as to where that is taking you. So you just kind of drive around in a circle and hope for the best. And sometimes it takes a really long time, and sometimes it doesn't. So I'm going to have to say that that's got to be part of my annoying moment of the week, is having to deal with the fact that it is not always clear on your GPS, nor is it always clear on the actual signs itself where the heck you're going when you're trying to get from point A to point B. So I have to let that be known here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports meets life. So thank you for letting me get that out here in the annoying moment of the week. And my other annoying moment of the week is the fact that not everybody gets to come down here. I have been very privileged by my parents. I don't want to call it privilege. I don't like that word. I don't like that word when it comes to this stuff because it makes me sound like I'm some type of snobby kid, and I'm not. I've been making my own money since I was 14 at a job, and my first job I was 10. So I feel very blessed that my parents, took me to Disney growing up. I feel very blessed that my parents worked really hard to do that and to make it an awesome experience. So, Disney's what I know. But it doesn't mean that I don't understand that there's people that never come to Disney, which is really sad for me to think about. Or people that come to Disney, but they only come to Disney one time. Or they say, there's families, I think there's one family I met that saved up for 14 years just to come once. So, not everybody gets to live the life that you live. And I think it's important for people to know that and understand that. Not everybody lives the life that you live. And not everybody has the opportunities that you have. And so I think, when certain things become kind of natural to us, right, it becomes our reality of, okay, well, this is what I'm used to doing, so this must be how everybody's life is. And that's not true, and that's not the case. So, an annoying moment of the week for me is that there isn't more families down here. An annoying moment of the week for me is that there are some people that have never been to Disney. There's some kids that have never experienced it. There's some people that have gone, but it was like, when they were in third grade or such a long time ago. And I know how much Disney has meant in my life, and I know how much, Disney helped me through some really tough times. And so that makes me think about people. And it makes me think, if Disney helped me through certain things that I had to go through in life and helped me to advance myself and take care of myself and really find my inner kid and be happy and be positive, if I got all that from Disney and somebody doesn't have the opportunity to come, then, what do they do when they're hurting what do they do when they're sad? And not saying that, I'm not saying outside influences. Obviously, you have to be comfortable in your own skin, and you have to bring yourself up, and you have to be positive yourself. But I'm just saying that I just feel like, to me, it always uplifted my spirit. It helped me to focus on who I am and who I want to be. I felt like I could be myself. And so it's an annoying moment of the week because I feel like everybody should be able to come down here. And I don't think that they should charge as much. I think the amount of money that they charge sometimes is ridiculous, and constantly changing things to make more money when, some people are struggling just to get here one time. And so it's my hope and my prayer that Disney actually thinks about the people. Disney thinks about the kids that want to be here. And just, I know you got to make money, and I know it's a business. I fully understand that. Trust me, I'm a business owner. But I care about people more than anything else. And so I just hope that Disney can find a way to just have a little bit of a bigger heart and some more care, and to just do better at reaching out to people, do better at making it more affordable, and just think about the fact that so many people want to come and so many people can't. They can't afford it. And then there's the people that can afford it, that they're almost like rendering incapable of affording it in the future. So, I always thought that Disney was supposed to be for every kid. And in order to make that happen, I think we need to remember the beauty of being a big kid and understand you're going to make your money, okay? People are going to buy popcorn and buy cotton candy, and they got to stay at the hotel, and they got to buy their ticket to come in, and they're going to buy their little Mickey, but I want everybody to be able to come. So on the 50th anniversary of Magic Kingdom and Walt Disney World, it's my prayer and my hope that Disney makes decisions to make things more affordable and more convenient for the great people out there that just want to celebrate being a big kid and want to bring their kids. So I hope it all works out. My other annoying moment of the week, my final one, this is my fourth scoop. My other annoying moment of the week, this week, I would have to say is the fanatic world. Now, there's a difference when I'm talking about this stuff. I always say that there's fans and there's there's fans and there's fanatics, right? And so to me, there's when you're looking at fans versus fanatics, I tend to obviously I am not a fan of fanatics at all by any stretch of the imagination. I am not a fan of fanatics. Now, fanatics are the people that are fans of teams, but they're illogical, irrational, borderline ridiculous, borderline rude. Well, I don't want to say borderline rude. They are rude. And my frustration with fanatics, it's like what's going on with Mike Norvell right now. And, at Florida State, is that they're 0-4, and so people are like, all right, well, just fire this guy and find a new one. Just fire him and find a new one. And I can't stand that. First and foremost, people don't understand how difficult it is. Now, have I constructively criticized coaches before? Absolutely. Of course I have. Constructively criticized. Like, spoke about them in such a way that if I saw them in person, I wouldn't have to hang my head and feel, embarrassed of what I said or who I am or whatever that may be because of how I acted. So it's important to understand constructive criticism, right? Are you trying to help or are you trying to hurt? Are you trying to tear somebody down? Or are you trying to build somebody up? Are you trying to help somebody be better? Or do you not care about their well-being at all? And that's what it really comes down to. For me, this is an annoying moment of the week for me because I'm sick and tired of seeing people get attacked, especially when they just started. Mike Norvell became the head coach during a pandemic, which is very different than becoming a head coach at any other time. And I shouldn't have to tell you that. This last year and a half has been very strange for us. So, to say the least. The other part of it, so he comes in, and he comes in when the team is obviously having issues. He comes in when this team has, what sounds to be locker room issues, which sounds to be just an environment or a cultural issue right now that needed to change and adjust. So it's part of my annoying moment of the week because I'm sick of people saying, this guy's 4 weeks into a job. Could you imagine being 4 weeks into a job and having thousands of people, tens of thousands of people calling for your head? Could you imagine that? Could you imagine starting a job and being in a job for 4 weeks, right? So 4 weeks into this season, because let's just say the pandemic year, whatever, because he came in and they didn't even play the amount of games they were supposed to play. So if you want to count it, say 9 weeks, whatever. But could you imagine coming into a job, and let's just say this season for the 2021 season, they played 4 games, that you could be judged on 4 days. 4 days. 4 days. Give the man a little bit of time. It's an annoying moment for me because he just became the head coach, and he became the head coach during a pandemic. So I think he needs a little bit more time to figure out what the culture is, what the environment is, to recruit his guys. You need at least 4 to 5 years to bring in your people. And during a pandemic year, you're just happy to have somewhat of a season and salvage what you got. So I just think people need to be a little bit more respectful. And I know I said that was my last annoying moment of the week, but my last annoying moment of the week is the pandemic needs to end. I'm over it. I'm over people having to wear masks. I want to see people smile. I want to see people excited. I don't like the thought, obviously, of people feeling unsafe. People have been dying through this. I've had family and friends that have gotten sick. I've had some family and friends that could have passed away from this that thank God did not. And I've heard enough bad news. I just heard about a father and a son that both passed away. The father, I believe, in his 70s and the son in his 30s or 40s. So, to me, I just want this thing to be over. I know that most people do, but my annoying moment of the week is that it's time. It's time to end this pandemic. We've been through enough. So God, please, 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 take it away. I don't think you brought it to us, but I pray to you that you take it away and that this pandemic can please be over and that the bad weather that's threatening some places, that could not happen, and then that, those hurricanes and tornadoes, whatever, can disappear and we can stop the madness here. I think people need a break. They need time to take a deep breath. And, we've been through so much. So I pray and I hope for an end to the pandemic. And I pray and I hope for positivity and goodness and people to just be good to each other and GPSs to work and bees to stop chasing me and stop trying to fly in my mouth. So a lot of annoying moments of the week all coming together. But the real and for Disney to be affordable for everybody, because I love coming down here and I want people to be able to do it. So, ultimately, we do the annoying moment of the week in all good fun, and it allows me to talk about something, to get something off my chest, whatever that may be. But it's always spun back into a positive. It's always like, hey, let's talk about something that's annoying, but how do we fix it? How do we get better? How do we advance past it if it's not within our control? And, because it's all about smiling. And Carvel DeWitt is a place that has always made my family and I smile. And I feel very honored and privileged to work with Carvel DeWitt, my longest standing partner of Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora and Dan Tortora Broadcast Media. They've been with me for, I believe this is our 11th year, and I am so, so grateful to the wonderful people at Carvel, DeWitt, with Jay Cartini and the team. And I want to thank them all for all that they do every single season, because they're open year-round, and for being the longest-standing Carvel in the nation on 4322 East Genesee Street, and to be the exclusive home of my sundae, the Orange Dream. The Orange Dream, which is my spin on a creamsicle as a sundae or a shake. Orange sherbet with vanilla ice cream, whipped cream, cherry, and rainbow sprinkles. Have it as a sundae or a shake today exclusively at Carvel DeWitt. So I want to say thank you to Carvel for always helping to put a smile on so many faces and creating so many beautiful memories and being a part of so many beautiful memories, as we are here with them for the annoying moment of the week, where I get to go off about something every Friday, but more importantly, that they're here for us in the community, and they always bring us those flavors that we love all the time. So thank you to Carvel for all that you do, and know that we appreciate it tremendously. So I just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart for all that you do. With that being said, we're going to hop into a fast break, and when we come back, Juanita Ward will be joining us here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports meets life, jumping into Lead, Learn, Evolve, Ad-Lib, and Deliver from inside of the Cafe Kubal Studios. Lead coming up next with Juanita Ward, proudly presented by Chick-fil-A Cicero and Chick-fil-A Clay, and the top dog of the week coming up after that from K9 Camp Dog Daycare and K9 Kampground Dog Boarding, and of course, our very, very special and first ever Pacer Pride coming up with Executive Director of Athletics at Marywood University, Mr. Pat Murphy, at 10:15 a.m. Eastern Time this morning.
Carvel DeWitt, it's what happy tastes like. Do you know why? Because we make ice cream. Creamy, rich, flavorful ice cream. Not yogurt or iced milk like some of our competitors. Ice cream. Fresh, by hand, daily. For the calorie conscious, we have something new for you. Our new Carvelite. Same great flavor, creaminess, and texture of our regular ice cream with only 35 calories an ounce. So whether you want an ice cream cake, flying saucer, dasher, carvelanche, hard or soft ice cream, we will satisfy your craving with our fresh, handmade regular or new Carvelite ice cream. Carvel DeWitt. It's what happy tastes like.
Cafe Kubal offers same-day local delivery of our products, offering no delivery charge for Onondaga County. Shop cafekubal.com for fresh roasted coffee beans, cold brew, travel mugs, and all your essential Cafe Kubal needs. Cafe Kubal, coffee for the soul.
The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is located on 3680 Milton Avenue in the Home Depot Plaza. It is your family-friendly sports bar and restaurant. Folks, some sports bars aren't family-friendly. Some family-friendly restaurants are not sports bars. The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is proud to be both. It is that marriage that you've been looking for years. The Wildcat Sports Pub is your home base for your sports bar and restaurant needs, games for the kids, indoor and outdoor activities, and enough things on the menu to come back every single week and get to try something new. They're open Sundays from noon to 8 p.m., Monday through Wednesday, 11 a.m. to 11 p.m., and Thursday through Saturday from 11 a.m. to midnight. For reservations and party information, call 315-487-2222 for the Wildcat family-friendly sports pub and restaurant. And a welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports meets life on wakeupcalldt.com as well as on mixlr.com/wakeupcalldt. I hope you're having yourselves a tremendous morning this morning and enjoying your TGIF, and happy to have you here on Facebook as well, facebook.com/wakeupcalldt and facebook.com/livenowdt. So always appreciate having you here with us where sports meets that thing called life. And it is now time to jump inside of the Cafe Kubal studios, to jump into Lead, Learn, Evolve, Ad-lib, and Deliver. It is our acronym that we have for you every Friday right around 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time, and it features my sister, Juanita Ward, more than a friend. She is a family to me. I love her so very much. And I'm down in the South right now, finishing off a week down in Florida, and she's down here in the South as well. And today we're focusing on being a big kid and feeding your spirit as Disney celebrates 50 years of the Magic Kingdom and Walt Disney World. We celebrate what it means to be a big kid and enjoy life, and to truly celebrate and feed your spirit, just what it means to us to always be a big kid and to stay a big kid. So a lot of happy stuff going on from a woman that I know loves to smile, and I love to smile as well. So we're going to hopefully help you to smile a little bit more this morning, and hopefully throughout the weekend, and moving on from there. So with that being said, let me bring in one of the best, and that is Miss Juanita Ward. Juanita, how you doing today?
Hey, Dan, how's it going?
It's going very well. And Juanita, I'm ecstatic. As you know, we were talking about it off the air. Today is the 50th anniversary of Walt Disney World and the Magic Kingdom. So I am a big kid. I am so excited about the opportunity to be able to share this moment down here with Disney. Got to shoot a bunch of stuff and got to do a lot of things for Wake Up Call and for Dan on Disney, just to celebrate. And so it kind of made me think about, you know what? Being a big kid is what keeps me who I am. It's part of what, is, my spirit, making sure that I take care of my spirit, make sure that I'm good to myself. This is something that, is a big part of it, is staying a big kid. And so I think that it was imperative to celebrate that and to talk about that today, and just what that means to you, to make sure that you don't ever forget that. Because, there's something to be said about how they say when you get older, people get more cynical, and when you become an adult, people stop believing in certain things and stop thinking about certain things. Maybe their imagination starts to go away. And it's that, like, the opposite of the Peter Pan effect, where, it's like you do grow up, and not that there's anything wrong with that, but the childlike spirit, I think, is what is such a positive thing in life, and helps us to really, I don't know, in my opinion, helps us stay more connected to God, to have that childlike innocence and that connection and that kind of just whimsy, so to speak, and that appreciation for the things around us. So I'd love to open up the broad topic of being a big kid to you and what that means to you.
Well, it's all about the joy. It's the joy. It's, even as a kid, when we were, traveling, we got so excited. We were so happy. We were so full of joy. I'll never forget the time when we were going to visit my brother in Michigan, and my mom and dad would get up at about 2 o'clock. We would sleep through, and then we'll wake up at about 2 o'clock. And Dad and Mom wanted to be on the road at about either 3 or 4. And I remember when they woke me up, I would go to the bathroom and I would jump around and just jump. And then I would silently scream. Because I remember myself just grabbing my fist together and just going, ah! But I would silently do that because I was so happy that we were about to do something like that was of excitement. And till this day, I still get the same excitement. It's nothing wrong with having excitement. It doesn't matter where you are or who you are. The important thing is you still get happy. You still get excited. You still get joy. You still are about to go and have fun. For example, we went to Disney for Christmas maybe about 2 years back. And I still felt the same way I felt the very first time I went there. As a kid, I felt the same way as an adult. It's an amazing feeling that you feel that just comes over you, and it's a feeling of joy. It's not that you're old now. It's the same thing in the Bible. God wants us to have childlike faith. Doesn't mean that because we're adults that we don't need to stop having faith. He wants us to have childlike faith. I remember the disciples in the Bible was asking God, how are we going to get into heaven? And Jesus said, if you can just have childlike faith, just know that everything is going to be okay. Having that moment, having that time, it's joy. Joy.
Yeah, and like you said, that childlike faith, right? To just believe in something, to just hold on to it, and that's something that that I love so very much is being a fan of Disney, and having that connection. I was the same as you. I'd be freaking out when we were going to Disney and whatever. I remember starting the school year off and counting down the days to Disney. And the school year started in September, and I would go to Disney in April, and I'd start counting the days from September whatever, like September 5th to like April 20th. And I would count it down like all the time, put it on my calendar, get really excited about it. It was what I look forward to every single year growing up, and I still look forward to coming down here, and I'm such a big kid. I mean, if anybody looks at Facebook at Wake Up Call DT, Twitter at Call DT, or Instagram at Wake Up Call _DT, you will see my kid-like ways from this week, from celebrating the 50th anniversary. And, being a big kid to me, Juanita, it means remembering the things that matter, right? Because when we were kids, I mean, at least for you and I, when I was a kid growing up, and I was talking to somebody about this recently, going and playing a pickup baseball game. We would grab a plastic bat, a wiffle ball, and we'd go out there and we'd make our bases, and we'd just run out to an open field, whatever field was open, and we'd play. Or I'd go swimming. My mom and I would go swimming at my grandma's pool. And my mom would just, hey, you want to go swimming, honey? And yeah, Ma, let's go. And I'd go swimming with my mom. Or my dad would say, let's take a ride. And I would go, where? And he goes, a ride. Where are we going? We're just going. We're just going to go take a ride. And we would just take a ride, and then we'd eventually pull up to Carvel, and my dad would have the back of the pickup truck, and we'd sit on the back, and he let me sit there, and sometimes he'd let me drive home back there because you're just a few minutes away, and I'd be eating my ice cream cone from Carvel and sitting on the back part and just happy as all can be. Those things that just stick out to you, those memories that are beautiful, those things that might, be small to somebody but big to you. And I've always, in my 35 plus years of being on this planet, I've always tried to make sure that I don't forget about that stuff. I don't forget about the fact that, McDonald's still has pure honey, and I just love honey, and I love to dip my fries in honey. And I would literally go to Burger King as a child growing up and get chicken tenders and then have my mom drive over to McDonald's because I wanted to dip it in their honey. And so, just little tiny things like pure honey still being there, like waking up in the morning and, when I'm down here knowing that I'm staying with my brother and he's got to leave and I got to, get to my work and do my show and whatnot. But that one moment where he gets to say, hey, I love you, bud. I hope you have a great day. I'll see you in a little while. And just being thankful for him, being a big kid. When I come down to see my brother, I'm a big kid with him. We're laughing, we sit, we watch TV, we eat together, we laugh together, we just have a good time. And so, I mean, this segment, this piece today, what we're focusing on with Lead, it means so much to me because it's what I've done all week. I run around Disney like a kid. I get excited when I saw Goofy yesterday, and you would have thought I was 5 years old again. So, to me, I think it's so important to just feed our spirit. And being a big kid, to me, really feeds your spirit. It helps you to stay young at heart, and it helps you to focus on the things that I think really matter in life, and that's really what I'm trying to get at.
It definitely does. It keeps you focused. It keeps you in a sense of I just can't get past the word joy. It keeps you in a sense of joy. It keeps you in a enticement of joy because you see something that you love and you go and you do it. And we have all of these stories of our beginnings, and our beginnings began when we were a child. And now that we've grown old, we didn't forget that we felt joy, we felt love, we felt happiness when we was a child. The thing is that we have to remember, just because you grew up and you became an adult in age does not mean that you forget the excitement that you felt when you were a child. those same things continue to follow you. You have to know where joy comes. I say all the time, the Bible teaches us this is the day that the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. If we can rejoice in the small things, we can also rejoice in the big things.
Yeah, and that's a great point. If we can rejoice in the small things, we can rejoice in the big things. What is one of your favorite childhood memories? Like, what, I know you talked a little bit about, getting really excited for Disney and whatnot, but when you think about growing up, what's one of your favorite memories? Maybe something that you try to recreate from time to time. Because I know, like, for me, Disney, Christmas, there's like things that I try to recreate that always stay with me since I was a kid. Do you have something like that?
Obviously, I love Christmas. Christmas is where I believe that I get the most gifts ever. My birthday is in December. The Christmas is in December. And then you have New Year's Eve. And I always told my parents, I was like, I need to have 3 gifts. I need Christmas, birthday, and New Year's Eve. Christmas is my favorite time of the year. December, I would just say, is my favorite time of the year because it's something. Actually, if we can go back, the whole Thanksgiving, the whole November, and then December is my favorite time of the year because it's the only time that seems to be in America or in the whole entire world when everyone comes together. It doesn't make sense to me that people would come together just November and December and start giving more than they give the rest of the months because we're supposed to have a caring heart all of the months. But for some reason around those 2 months, people start to feel a little bit more generous to give. I just want to do a PSA announcement. Please give every month of the year because people still love every month of the year.
Yeah.
And, but December, I would say, is my favorite because it's my birthday month. And I would never forget this. I was asking my parents for something for Christmas. And, I woke up the morning of Christmas, ran into the den, looked under the tree in expectation that I was going to have what I asked. I didn't get it. And I felt like, man, they didn't hear me. They didn't hear that I told them that I wanted this for Christmas. And a couple of days passed by. My father comes rolling down the hill what I'd asked for on Christmas. And I was going, why did I not know that I was going to get the bike that I wanted on my birthday? And it was the best time I didn't get upset that I didn't have all the gifts that I wanted under the tree. I didn't even get upset at all. I just wanted my bike. And I just believed enough to know that I was actually going to get my bike. I just didn't know when, but I knew I was going to get it. But the thing is, I still had faith that I was going to get it. And I still had a joy that I was actually going to get it. I knew it was coming. I just didn't know when it was coming. That's the same thing that happens with us today. We know something is going to happen. We just don't know when it's going to happen. We feel the excitement. We feel the joy. We feel that maybe Mickey is around the corner, but we don't know if Mickey is actually around the corner unless we get there. That's the excitement that I felt even when we were traveling to Michigan. I knew something was going to happen. I knew something was exciting, but I just didn't know what was going to happen and when the excitement was going to happen. I just knew that we was driving in anticipation that something was going to happen. If we can continue anticipating that something is going to happen, the joy of feeling like something is going to happen is going to increase.
Yeah, and you talk about that, believing in something that's going to happen and having that faith, having faith. So that, to me, that is faith. Saying, I hope it's around the corner. I'm not sure if it's around the corner. I think it's around the corner. But having the faith, having that belief without evidence at times. You know, when you're a kid, you believe Santa's coming. You believe that when you go to sleep at night and you wake up, there's going to be snow and there's going to be presents under the tree. When you're a little kid, you believe that your parents are going to take care of you. You believe when you get to Disney that Mickey's going to be at the castle waiting for you and he's going to say hi and give you a big hug. You believe that. You believe that. And as you get older, and people start saying things to you, and you start having different thoughts, and you start going through stuff and whatnot, and this person says this, and this person says that, and this person says the other thing, and you start to kind of question yourself, and then all of a sudden, you feel like you've kind of lost yourself. And then you say, darn it, when I was a kid, things were easier. Well, folks, I'm not telling you not to think. I'm not telling you not to question. God doesn't even say, don't question me. Don't ask me. Don't wonder. Don't just follow me blindly. If I wanted you to follow me blindly, I would take away free will and just make you guys do it. I want you to question. I want you to come to me and say, why? Why did this? Not why, but, I want you to come to me and I want you to have a discussion with me. But I want you to have faith. When we were kids, it was so easy to just believe that this is going to happen, and this is going to happen, and this is going to happen, and this is going to happen. It was so easy, and then we got older, and then we started thinking about it. My parents say to me growing up, you think too much. You think too much. Just let it be. And that's where I think the world gets lost. You want to know how to make the world a better place? Get adults to appreciate life like kids again. Get adults to have that whimsy. Get adults to have that imagination. Get adults to have that. Because when you were a kid, right, hate is taught, love is taught. When you were a kid, you didn't care what color anybody was. You played in the sandbox with them. If the kid was nice and they didn't push you down and make you cry, then you handed them your shovel. They handed you... you handed the shovel, they handed you, it said, hey, why don't you use this? Oh, no, why don't you use that? Oh, okay, here, look, I got something that looks like a turtle. You can put it in the sand and make a little turtle out of the sand. And you shared with each other. Nobody cared how much money you had. Nobody cared where you came from. Nobody cared what you were wearing. I bring up being a big kid today, not just because I'm in Disney, not just because of your imagination, but when you were a kid, you weren't attacked by these negative things that people try to put on. Your mind was free. Your heart was free. You loved like God loves. And I think the biggest challenge to being an adult is remembering how you were when you were a kid, how you loved when you were a kid, how you didn't have preconceived notions of people when you were a kid, how you didn't judge when you were a kid, how you didn't have that process of putting people in groups when you were a kid. When we were kids, we were just kids. We just played. I didn't care who anybody was, where they came from, what their background, what language they spoke, what color their skin was, if it was a girl or a boy. All I cared is that we had enough people on the baseball field to play a game. And if as adults, we could look at life and say, hey, we just want to have enough people at the table to have the conversation, regardless of what their background is, how much money they make. If we could look at life like kids and sit at a table like kids and just marvel and appreciate life like kids and be open like we were when we were kids, call me crazy, but I feel like we could get a lot more done, and I feel like it would be a lot more free and a lot more open if we could just see the world through the eyes of a child that's constantly amazed, open to new things, and free from the shackles that come from any type of prejudice out there when we just want to play a game and we just want to have fun.
Our heart is sensitive. And in order to love your neighbor, you have to teach love. You have to believe love. The beautiful thing that I like about love, well said, Dan, Well said. But the beautiful thing that I like about love is everybody has the same color of love and the same color of blood, because love is in the blood. So no one bleeds out purple, green. No one bleeds out a different color. Everyone's going to bleed out the same color of blood, and it's going to be red. So if we love with the purification, love from the heart. Don't love from the persuasions that someone has put into your mind. At the end of the day, in order to have faith, you got to have childlike faith. What does that mean? When we just believed that everything is going to be okay. Just believe. In this moment of getting and feeling the excitement, joy is a 3-letter word, and it means so much. Allow joy to cover you. Allow joy to impart with you. Allow joy to be all that you need. Because just like when we were kids, only thing we knew was when mommy or daddy said that we can go outside. We felt joy. We felt excitement.
Yeah.
We became energized. And it didn't matter what color the other person was. Only thing that mattered was that we were blind to the ways and the woes of the world. We just believed that we were going to have some fun. Love only comes in one color, and that's red. Just believe.
I love it. And that's the thing, is to to remember that we all have the same blood. It's amazing to me how many things we have in common and how different we treat each other. When we're kids, we're just kids. And what do people always say? Life was better when I was a kid. Well, life can be better now. Why would you live life saying, 20 years ago, I loved my life? You should love your life now. Why would you love your life 20 years ago and not love it now? You should love your life every day. Because somebody is in a hospital bed right now fighting for theirs. And you're sitting here going, it was better back then. And you're totally healthy. Maybe you're totally healthy. You're sitting here, you got all your wits about you. You got your arms and legs. You got all your senses. You want life to be better, make it better. Yeah, we bleed the same color. We also, how about this? You want to believe that there's a God? You want proof that there's a God? We as people have been spread about all nooks and crannies of this world. We are spread about the land. We speak different languages. We come from different places. We have different colors. We have different backgrounds. And guess what? We all smile the what? Same. We all cry the what? Same. We all kiss each other. We all hug each other. There are things about human beings that are the same, right? We show affection the same way. We hold hands to show that we're together. We smile when we're happy. We cry when we're sad. We grit our teeth when we're angry. How come we could be so different yet the same? How come we could be spread so far away? And somebody in Australia, if they're happy and I'm happy here, we both show each other by smiling. There are things at the basis of us that are so much, they're so simple and they're the same. Think about how God was childlike in that respect. To say at the basis of who we are, at the most simple pieces of who we are, they're the same. That we all start off at the same jumping point. That we all have something that bonds us all together. That there's a way that I could work at Disney and meet people who spoke Mandarin Spanish, French, English, Portuguese, and I was able to get my point across and get them what they needed every time, or to help get them to that place. Why is that? Because at the basis of who we are as human beings, we're all the same. Where it counts, we're all the same. And I'm a firm believer that most of us want to be loved, want to make enough money to pay our bills and to be able to do fun things for ourselves, to treat ourselves. We want a roof over our heads. We want clothing. We want food and nourishment, drink. We want to live in a good neighborhood. We want a good education. We want our dreams to become a reality. And we want the people that we love to be taken care of. If we want the same things, and at the basis of us we look and act the same, and we bleed the same, then how can you as an adult not know that childlike reality, that basis, that minimal information we had as a kid, that what we had back then, that tiny bit of information, is exactly what we need today to remember to love, to have faith, to be joyful, to be respectful, to work in a community, and know that life is better when we're together.
Very well said, Dan. Very, very well said. The beauty about the show that we have is if we can just touch one person, that's all that matters. If nothing else that was said today, remember this: love thy neighbor. Because in loving thy neighbor, you find joy. Dan, I love you, man. Thank you so much for having me on the show.
Absolutely, Juanita. I love you too. I love you back. And I look forward to talking with you very soon. Go out there and keep smiling like a big kid. And I look forward to catching up with you soon.
Awesome. Thanks, man.
All right, take care. That coming from Miss Juanita Ward on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports meets that thing called life. We'll take a step aside for a fast break here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora from inside of the Travel Cafe Kubal Studios, spending the entire week in the great state of Florida. You've seen a pool, you've seen palm trees, you now see what looks like I'm in a cafe like Cafe Kubal. We have been through all different parts of our second home and second hub of the show, which is the great state of Florida. I'm grateful to be here. I'm grateful to have you here. And in hour number 2, we officially give you the top dog of the week, the first top dog of the week of October, and we get into our first ever Pacer Pride special, featuring Executive Director of Athletics, Pat Murphy, on the day that we begin our multimedia marketing partnership with my alma mater, Marywood University. I don't even have words, folks. I'm very grateful. In these unique times, there are those in our community that give us a sense of normalcy and positivity. Pizza Man on 50 Oswego Street in Baldwinsville has been here for you for over 35 years and is here now. Call 315-638-1234 or order online at pizzamanbville.com to bring those familiar tastes into your home. And remember to come see our monthly on-site broadcasts centered around the community and our Baldwinsville beats. Pizza Man in Baldwinsville. Any way you slice it, they are always here for you.
This is Jimmer Sikowski, owner-operator of Chick-fil-A Cicero, 7916 Brewerton Road in Cicero, right in front of the Home Depot. I had a deep feeling that God wanted me to do something bigger with my life and to help people, help others. I kept putting Chick-fil-A in my life, and I realized as I was going through the franchise selection process that positively impacting the lives of others was really core to what we do here at Chick-fil-A. First of all, it starts with the food. The food is brought in fresh daily. We bring in local produce. We prepare to order in the kitchen. We hand bread our chicken. We hand spin our milkshakes. It's great food. It doesn't taste like fast food. I think the second thing is the way people feel when they come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. It's different. We try to treat people with intentional kindness here, which is very different and deeper than good customer service. And so I think it feels remarkable for most people to come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. And then lastly, the impact that we try to have in the community is very different. It's a big part of the expectation of every operator of a Chick-fil-A restaurant is that they're actively engaged in their community, they're a leader in the community, and they're making a difference. When they realize that what we're striving to do is to shine a little light in their life, that's a very, very different experience than you will have in any other quick service restaurant. And it's that remarkable experience that I think people will emotionally connect with.
I'm George Townsend of Honda City with some good advice when buying a new car. The true cost of owning a new car is determined by the appraised value when you trade it. No vehicle appraises higher than a Honda. Next, look for low APRs and deep discounts. You also want low maintenance costs and great fuel economy. That's why my advice to you is to buy a new Honda. Looking pre-owned, visit our Honda Certified Used Car Center. Honda City, 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard, Liverpool, or HondaCity-CNY.com.
It would be a pity if you don't shop at Honda City.
Our corporate purpose at Chick-fil-A is to glorify God by being faithful stewards of all that's entrusted to us and to positively influence all those who come in contact with Chick-fil-A. And what became increasingly clear from our success in Cicero is that people love Chick-fil-A. And also I think we recognized that, we had a great opportunity to grow the brand and grow our platform. I felt incredibly grateful when I was selected to be a Chick-fil-A operator. I think what it's meant for me, what I've come to realize on a very deep level is that this is a calling for me. It's not a career. It's not a job. The Lord called me to be a Chick-fil-A operator and to use these restaurants to glorify Him and to positively influence other people. I'm blessed. I'm very blessed.
Head to Chick-fil-A Clay on 3974 State Route 31 in Liverpool, New York. Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora on wakeupcalldt.com, your one-stop sports shop, and on mixlr.com/wakeupcalldt, where you're listening, you're watching on Facebook Live on facebook.com/livenowdt, as well as on facebook.com/wakeupcalldt, and on youtube.com/wakeupcalldt. Very honored and excited inside the Cafe Kubal studios to be here with you to finish off our week in the great state of Florida, and I'm very, very honored to be able to be here, hanging out where sports meets that thing called life. We have a great, great piece coming up here on October 1st, the official first day of our multimedia marketing partnership with my alma mater of Marywood University, and the first ever multimedia marketing partner in the history of Marywood University. I cannot thank God enough for this opportunity to link up with Marywood, where I started my professional career, to now come back as a business owner and to be partnered with my university and the athletic program for the Marywood University Pacers is just, the honor is all mine, and I'm very thankful for that. So coming up in just a few minutes, we will have our first ever Pacer Pride special. Get used to seeing it every single month. Pacer Pride is the segment that we will have. There's also a Marywood page that has been brought to you on wakeupcalldt.com. It's been unveiled. It's there. If you go to wakeupcalldt.com right now, there's a Marywood tab. You can click on it right at the top of any one of the pages on wakeupcalldt.com, so you can check that out. The Marywood tab is live. Pacer Pride is starting today, and every single month we will have this special segment called Pacer Pride, where you'll have the opportunity to hear from the representatives of the Marywood Pacers athletic department, to hear from the coaches and the leaders inside of Marywood Pacers athletics, which I'm very, very excited to be able to share that with you today. In just a few minutes, I'll be joined by the executive director of athletics, Pat Murphy of Marywood University. But before we go there, we go to our top dog of the week, and I have the blessing of honoring a very special person in my life. The top dog of the week for this week, I told you October 1st is a very important day for many different reasons. Well, an incredible reason that is right at the top of that pile is the fact that today is the birthday of one of my other brothers, Mr. Ross Turetsky. Now, I say brother because God has blessed me with friends that are more than friends and more than just simply calling a best friend or a close friend. I consider them family. They might as well be blood. And one of my brothers in this world is Mr. Ross Turetsky. He's been featured on this show a ton of times out of Northeast Pennsylvania, a fantastic writer and broadcaster, covering high school sports and collegiate sports, covering professional sports as well. This man is an encyclopedia when it comes to the sports world. He also has a big heart. He's a very compassionate person, a giving person, an open person, and a person that always wants people that he cares about to know that he's thinking of you and that he cares. I don't know if I have anybody else on this planet that I can say, as a friend, reaches out to me every single day, at least once a day, with no excuses. He's got a wife and 2 kids. He's got a job. And yet, every day, he sends me at least one message. So today, Ross, I want to send you a message. Happy birthday. Thank you for being my best good friend. Thank you for being there for me in 2008 when I needed a friend. Thank you for sitting across from me and talking with me when we were honoring the life of a friend who had passed away, Sarah. Thank you for Sarah Beth George. Thank you for listening to me. Thank you for sitting with me. Thank you for guiding me through one of the toughest times that I had at that time in my life, a time where I thought I couldn't get out of it. And we look back on moments like that and go, that was so little, in the grand scheme of things. But I needed a friend. I needed an ear. Positivity, love. I just wanted to be surrounded by something good. And Ross, you were there for me. You took me through tough moments, emotionally, mentally, socially, in so many different ways. Spiritually, you were there. The day we became friends is a day that I will never forget. And to know that our birthdays are both in October, and you're October 1st, and I'm October 21st, which means that we get to be the same age for 20 days. About 3 weeks, we're the same age. Happy 35th birthday. Thank you for the laughs. Thank you for the deep conversations. Thank you for all of the time that you've given to me. Thank you for always wanting to spend an extra second, never wanting to rush me out. Thank you for always making me feel welcome, appreciated, and loved. Thank you for being slow to anger and quick to listen. For going to see movies with me. For watching the 6 overtime Syracuse-UConn game with me. For supporting Marywood University, as we're both proud alumni. So doing that together. For involving me in your wedding and letting me stand up there for you. For inviting me to whatever big event's going on in your life. For welcoming me into your home and always having a place for me to stay, whether it was your apartment or your actual home now. From the moment I met you, I knew I had a couch to sleep on, a friend to listen to me, a person to share a meal with and go to the movies with. Thank you for all you've done. And you've asked for literally nothing. And thank you that not only have you loved me and been kind to me and appreciated our bond, but you extended that out to your children. And Lorelai knows me as Uncle Dan, and LJ knows me as Uncle Dan, because you treat me like a brother. And not only has your love been there for me in our relationship, but it's spread to the next generation, to your kids. That you've taught them to love me and have me in their life. That you've loved me so much that you've extended me out to be an uncle in your family. I cannot even begin to thank you enough for the friend that you've been to me. So you're my top dog of the week, because everybody should have a friend like you. To keep them off a ledge. To keep them focused. To keep them laughing. To remind them of who they are, and to ask the right questions at the right times. There is nobody that treats me quite like you do. And I am honored to be your friend. I'm honored to be your best good friend. I'm honored to be your brother. I'm honored to call you one of the best people that I know in my life. And I love you more than I can ever tell you. So happy birthday to my top dog of the week, today, tomorrow, and always, Mr. Ross Turetsky. Brought to you by Canine Camp Dog Daycare and Canine Kampground Dog Boarding. Check them out. The daycare on 228 Old Bridge Street in East Syracuse, and right around the corner on 242 Johnson Street, Canine Kampground Dog Boarding. You can get more information for the daycare by calling 315-437-7110. That's 315-437-7110 to make an appointment for the daycare, for grooming, and to just go into the store. And of course, you can go to K-9 KAMP.com. K-9 KAMP.com. And for Canine Kampground Dog Boarding, you can call 315-299-4013. That's 315-299-4013. And get in touch with them at K-9 KAMPground.com. That's K-9 KAMPground, K9Campground.com. So find more there. We'll take a quick step aside for a fast break. When we come back, Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora will proudly bring you our first ever edition, the inaugural episode of Pacer Pride, with Executive Director of Athletics being our first guest, Mr. Pat Murphy of Marywood University. Right after this fast break. Avicoli's, located on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road in Liverpool, New York, has been your trusted neighbor for decades. Located just steps from Liverpool High School, we're happy to have the Liverpool Warriors on-site, on-location broadcast at Avicoli's through Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora every single month, featuring student athletes, coaches, and administration throughout the year from Liverpool High School. Head out to Avicoli's today on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road in Liverpool, New York, open Tuesday through Sunday for lunch, dinner, and drinks. We'd love to see you out there. And of course, you can call them at 315-622-5100 for takeout, delivery, and catering. That's 315-622-5100. And also find them on myavicolis.com. That's myavicollis.com. Having peace of mind when you're out of town that your furry-loving friend is safe and sound means taking them to Canine Kampground, because we all know that when it comes to the love of our pets, it goes well beyond the call of duty to make sure they're safe and sound. Right, Lily? So take a ride to 242 Johnson Street in East Syracuse, New York, and see Canine Kampground and where your dog will be staying. In the classic cabin, the executive cabin, the grand cabin, or of course the luxury cabin, because if you know Lily, you know she loves luxury. Now you don't have to wait to the last minute to find a family member or a friend that'll take your dog for a few days. Call Canine Kampground at 315-299-4013. That's 315-299-4013. Their drop-off and pickup times are Monday through Sunday. Check K9Kampground.com for more information. That's the letter K, the number 9, and campground spelled with a K.com. K9Kampground.com.
When you're going out of town, bring your dog to Canine Campground.
PB&J's Lunchbox, the food truck that you love finding all throughout Central and Upstate New York, now has a street-side cafe. So when you're craving their traditional favorites as well as their out-of-box amazing menu items, you can now head to 663 Old Liverpool Road in Liverpool, New York. Located just minutes from the highway, the Thruway, Destiny USA, and Onondaga Lake Parkway, PB&J's Lunchbox Street-Side Cafe is there for you Monday through Saturday from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m., serving breakfast, lunch, and dinner all throughout the day. Get breakfast for dinner, dinner for lunch, whatever you fancy, including their award-winning grilled peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Find them at 663 Old Liverpool Road in Liverpool, New York. PB&J's Lunchbox, where we love to know what's in your lunchbox. As a patient, what do we want? To be cared for, to be listened to, and to have someone walk us through the process on our path to victory. Victory Sports Medicine and Orthopedics does all of those things beautifully, with Dr. Mark Petropoli leading the team on 791 West Genesee Street in Skaneateles, New York, located minutes from beautiful Skaneateles Lake. Whatever your injury may be, from head to toe, preventative care, rehab, physical therapy, laser therapy, and surgery are all available at Victory Sports Medicine and Orthopedics, where they care about us, they listen to us, and they understand that everyone's path to victory is a little bit different. Let them help you on yours by calling 315-685-7544 to make your appointment today. That's 315-685-7544. And find out more information at victorysportsmedicine.com. Welcome here to the first ever Pacer Pride special here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. I'm very honored and privileged to officially get to welcome you all in with the multimedia marketing partnership between Dan Tortora Broadcast Media, Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, and Marywood University Athletics. And so our first ever video Q&A is fitting here with Pacer Pride to have the head of the athletic department, Pat Murphy, here with us, the Executive Director of Athletics at Marywood University. Pat, how are you today?
Good, Dan. How are you doing? We're very excited to work with you throughout this year.
Yeah, I'm very, very much looking forward to this. Dream come true for me to start my career at Marywood in 2003 with MU courtside, my first baby, and to be here in 2021, 18 years later, and have my company of almost 9.5 years right now working with my alma mater of Marywood University. So it means a lot that this multimedia marketing partnership has come to fruition. To be honest, I kind of need to be pinched a little bit. It's very surreal, but I'm thankful that you saw the vision of kind of what I'm going after here, and I really like the time that you and I have gotten to sit down off the air. So it's been wonderful to be able to kind of build with you toward this moment, and I want to say thank you for that.
Well, thank you. I mean, you're a proud alum of Marywood. I think this is going to be great for both of us, Dan. I mean, it puts us on a whole different platform. We have a good story to tell here, but we need to tell it, and we need those vehicles to be able to tell that story. And I think this is a perfect partnership, and we look forward to working with you.
Absolutely. And so once again, Executive Director of Athletics at Marywood University, Pat Murphy here with us today in our jump off of Pacer Pride, a special you will see monthly exclusively on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. And when you go around campus, you'll also see the hashtag Pacer Pride all throughout campus, which is really an incredible thing. And this is a multi-level partnership, multimedia marketing partnership. So there will be many things that will have Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora Broadcast Media, and Marywood University Athletics synonymous with one another, which I look forward to very much so. And like I said, to start off Pacer Pride with Pat at the head of this athletic department. Pat, you've had over 25 years of experience in the field, over 2 decades and a half. Just what started this for you? What kind of created your love for sports? And then secondly to that, what made you feel that being within the administration of athletics could really be a future for you that you would want to do?
Well, first of all, you caught me by surprise when you said 2.5 decades. Wow, that kind of puts me pretty old at this stage, doesn't it?
Well, just say you started when you were 5. That's it.
Yeah, okay. Perfect. Well, thank you for that. I grew up in a small town outside of New York. My mother was a gym teacher, and she retired when I was young, real young. And my father was a local high school athlete, and sports was pretty big in my hometown. It was a smaller town. We had really good boys soccer teams growing up, a history of great soccer programs there. And my mom used to take me to the games as a little kid and all. And I just grew. I don't know if I loved the sport as much or I loved all the pageantry around the sport, but I grew up with it, loved it. I became an athlete. I played there in that town, went on to college and played. I played at Marshall University, which is right behind me here. You can see a little bit of it. And then, like with everyone else, it has to end. And I went out and tried to find a job out in the real world, and I didn't have any luck. I came back. I was walking around campus one day after I had graduated, and the dean of the department came up to me and says, "What are you doing?" I said, "Well, I'm not really doing much now. I'm just kind of interviewing." He goes, well, would you like to work as a graduate assistant at the university, and you could get your master's degree for free? And I thought, well, it wasn't really what I envisioned doing, but I didn't have any other options. So I did it, and they actually placed me in the athletic department there at Marshall. And, one job, led to another. I went from Marshall to the University of Maryland Eastern Shore, to Iona, to DePaul, to Fairfield, and now Marywood.
And when you look back on that time that you had at Marshall, 1987 graduate of Marshall University. You were a scholarship member of the men's soccer team, and I know that you have that right behind you in the office. So to be a part of that soccer team and to be a scholarship member of that team, what did that teach you? Because as the head of an athletic department, I think being a former player really helps you to understand the life of a student athlete and what's asked of a student athlete. So as you oversee student athletes today at Marywood University, how can you take from your time as a student athlete to really understand their life?
Oh, that's a great question. Yes, I do remember vaguely those days of being a student athlete, and I do remember that, the time commitment that you put towards it was immense. One thing we found through the years is that, or I shouldn't say through the years, that's not the right word to say it, but across the board, almost at every university in the country, student athletes tend to do better overall than the regular general populace of students. And I think a lot of that is because your time is so structured. And what I mean by that is that when you're a student athlete, you go to class from A to B, then you have practice from 3 to 5, then you have time for dinner, and then you've got that short window to do your homework. And you have that short window to do your homework, and you have to do it. Sometimes when you have too much time on your hands, other influences pull you away from what you're supposed to be doing. So I do have a pretty good idea of the challenges that student athletes face. Um, you know, it's difficult. It's very difficult to be a student athlete. You know, anywhere, anytime, any place. It's just because there's so many things pulling at them during the course of a day.
Yeah. You know, and this last year and a half, we look at being a student, being an athlete, never ever expecting or anticipating that you wouldn't be able to go to class, you wouldn't be able to practice, you wouldn't have any games. Some teams saw over 600 days in between competition. So for, you know, and at the Division III level that Marywood University is at, we saw, you know, a complete stoppage. So, you know, and some teams able to get a couple games in here and there and whatnot. Division III, some teams played, some teams didn't. Some conferences were, you know, trying to get out there and play, and some conferences thought it would be best to wait. How did you navigate this last year and a half at Marywood University, knowing that just a short while ago you took the job, and then after being at Marywood for about a year or so, you were faced with a pandemic. You were faced with a world-changing situation that, you know, really had no blueprint.
Well, it definitely was difficult. You know, when I opened up my manual, Athletic Director for Dummies, there's not a chapter in there about pandemics. But, you know, it's not like you're going at it all by yourself, Dan. I mean, we have league meetings all the time. I mean, we get guidance from the NCAA, who gets their guidance from the Center of Sports Science. And then where it gets a little tricky is each state has their own regulations on how they deal with COVID. So it's not like we were going at it all alone. We had a lot of support. We bounced a lot of ideas on how we were going to do things off of each other, or at least the other membership schools. And here at Marywood, we knew we were not going to have a fall season per se. We were going to try to squeeze in a few games for the fall sports in the spring. But I thought it was very important, Dan, that we did practice, or allowed our student athletes to gather with their teams and have regular practices in the fall to try to create some sort of normalcy. You know, more or less for their own emotional and mental well-being, as opposed to their physical well-being. And we took all the steps that we needed to do with the testing and all of that. So we did it very safe. And in fact, it got to a point, Dan, where I felt that, you know, one of the big challenges we had is we put so many protocols in place to keep our student athletes safe.
Yeah.
That I knew no one was going to contact coronavirus during an athletic-related event. My biggest fear was I only had them 2 hours out of a 24-hour window. So once they left my controlled environment, where do they go from there, and who are they in contact with, et cetera, et cetera. But I think we needed that last year for people's mental and emotional well-being.
Yeah, you know, and mental health is such a big part of daily life. And I think that, you know, when I was growing up, and, you know, and you as well, you know, as you're growing up, mental health was not really talked about. You know, I remember people saying, deal with it, figure it out. You know, it is what it is. And these kind of statements that are dead ends. This past year and a half, mental health has become front and center, where people can speak out and say, hey, you know, I don't know how to handle this. I don't know what to do. I can't go home and be with my family. I can't, you know, go and do the things that I'm used to, or not even seeing, you know, being able to see somebody smile that affected people, or being able to go to different places that maybe just brought peace, being able to travel from state to state because of different regulations. How did you, as the executive director of athletics at Marywood University, how did you try to tackle mental health and address that?
Well, again, we had a lot of support. So in other words, when we found that we had a student athlete that was really struggling, and And what we find is there's a lot of student athletes that have struggles day in and day out. And I think the pressure of this whole COVID thing had the ability or had the potential to push that student over the edge. So we had at our disposal, we had the counseling center here, and you know, I have a great staff of coaches, and they're very close with their players. And when we would see a potential problem on the horizon, the coaches would step up and they would alert either myself and or our counseling center that there was a potential issue. So I wish I could take credit for all that, Dan. I can't. Like I said, our coaches are so good and they're so close to their players, and they know their players, and they're very good at vetting that out.
Speaking here with Pat Murphy, the Executive Director of Athletics at Marywood University for the Pacers, and our first ever jump off of Pacer Pride, the inaugural episode, which you'll find every single month exclusively with Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora and Dan Tortora Broadcast Media as part of our multimedia marketing partnership with the Marywood University Pacers, my alma mater. Pat, you speak on the coaches for men's sports. You have baseball, basketball, cross country, golf, lacrosse, rugby, soccer, swimming and diving, tennis, and track and field. For the women's side, basketball, cross country, field hockey, golf, lacrosse, rugby, soccer, softball, swimming and diving, tennis, track and field, and volleyball, and the institution of esports for both men's and women's side of things. What can you say about overseeing a department with all of these athletic opportunities for men and women? And then secondly, the institution of esports, that when you go on campus now, you can actually see the esports headquarters, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, well, yes, we have 22 sports here, Dan. It can be daunting, but again, I'm very, very fortunate that when I took this position over, the staff that was already in place was incredible. I mean, they don't miss a beat. Andrew Smith is wonderful. Nikki Malloy is wonderful. Our coaches are great. So it's really a team effort. And I couldn't do this without the team that we have in place. And in a lot of ways, they're better than I am at certain things. But as far as esport goes, that was I don't want to say the brainchild. It was the idea of Sister Mary Persico, the president of Marywood University, and the board of trustees here. I remember when I interviewed for the position here, you know, she asked me, what do I know about esports? And I said, well, I really don't know that much about esports, but I think I know where to go to find the answers if I had to. And roughly 2 years later, we're starting an esport program. We built out a beautiful center for esports, invested quite a bit of money into it, and I honestly think we have probably one of the nicer esport facilities, at least within a 200-mile radius of this university. It is top notch.
How important was it to have esports in an ever-changing world? And why do you believe that the center that you have is unique to other places?
Well, for the first, here's the thing with esport, and I'm not going to pretend that I know everything there is to know about esports, but I will say this: it's not going away.
Yeah.
And you don't want to be the last one to the dance, Dan. In other words, you want to be one of the first ones into the dance. You know, and I think it's here to stay, and I think it's going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. And, you know, the vision of our president to jump in when we did, you know, I applaud that decision. Now, you ask what makes our facilities so good. You know, we invested the money into it. You know, the newest things are always, you know, it's like when you build a stadium. The Sci-Fi Stadium out in Los Angeles is nicer than MetLife. You know, that anything you build new has all the bells and whistles to it. But we have 30 stations, 30 high-end computers at those stations. We have flat screen TVs all over the place. We brought in a branding or digital branding company to do all the look of the facility. And it's first class. I went to visit 3 or 4 places and saw their facilities, and what they have is no place near as nice as what Marywood has put together.
Coming from the Executive Director of Athletics, Pat Murphy at Marywood University, in Pacer Pride, our inaugural episode. And Pat, before I let you go, a few other pieces here. Speaking of those 22 sports in NCAA Division III, Marywood is a part of multiple conferences and has different connections. The Atlantic East Conference, the ECAC, the Landmark Conference, and the Mid-Atlantic Rugby Conference, or MARC. Just what you can say to the conferences you're a part of and connected to, and what it means, especially with the Atlantic East as being one of the founding members of that conference.
Yeah, the Atlantic East, we are one of the founding members. It's a very competitive Division III athletic conference. Jessica Huntley's our commissioner of the conference. I couldn't be more impressed on how we do things within that conference. I think it's a lot of like institutions, which is nice. A lot of the institutions are very similar to what Marywood is and what our mission is at Marywood University. So I think it's a great fit for us. It's always evolving, these conferences. You see it at the Division I level. You see a little bit of it at the Division III level as well. But the difference is at the Division III, you don't have the huge revenue dollars that you get from TV like you do at the Division I level.
We look at some of the other pieces on your way to Marywood. Back in 2014, Pat, you were named tournament manager and assistant tournament director by the NCAA, and you had the opportunity to connect with the 2014 NCAA Division I Men's Hockey Frozen Four, which was hosted at the Wells Fargo Center in Philadelphia. The same year, you worked with the New York, New Jersey Super Bowl host committee, where you coordinated a volunteer workforce of 1,200 staff, and just to have numerous events there in conjunction with the running of the Super Bowl. Summer of 2016, you worked with the city of Bridgeport and USA Basketball to bring to an international doubleheader, which included Team USA, Team Canada, France, and Australia. And
that was on the women's basketball side.
Yep. And serving as a tune-up prior to the 2016 Summer Olympic Games in Rio de Janeiro. So to be part of the men's ice hockey Frozen Four, and to be part of USA Basketball on the women's side, as well as working with the Super Bowl. I mean, these are all different kind of nooks and crannies, but your history is vast and really involves you working with those that represent our nation with Team USA, as well as being a part of a Super Bowl, which is incredible. And at the same time, the men's ice hockey Frozen Four, which is well done, from year to year. Bring me into how these opportunities kind of came about and what it means to you, because I think being a part of one of them would be potentially life-changing, and you got to live in a lot of different worlds.
Yeah, well, let's talk about the Frozen Four. That foundation was really set when years and years ago, when I was at DePaul University, we wanted to get the regional, the men's basketball NCAA regional, to come to Chicago. Believe it or not, the regional had never been to Chicago before. And I put together a bid, with the help of my athletic director at DePaul and our committee. And we were going up against the Big Ten Conference. Now, we had the old Rosemont Horizon that we were using, and the Big Ten had the United Center. And, there's stark difference between the two facilities, with the United Center being a lot bigger and a lot nicer and brighter and all of that. But the Rosemont area had a lot of positives going for it, including O'Hare Airport, a lot of great hotels out there and all of that. And we ended up getting that, okay? So, but I had left DePaul before the regional actually ever took place. We were awarded the regional when I was there, but I had left to go to Fairfield University, and I remember discussing it with my boss at the time, because Fairfield was moving into a city-run building that was brand new called the Harbor Yard Arena in Bridgeport. And I said to my boss, I said, I knew some people with the NCAA on the men's side. We were able to get the tournament, for the men. We ought to take a stab at the women. And we couldn't do the men because the facility wasn't big enough, Dan. I think it may have sat 9,500 people. And I also knew that the NCAA was getting some heat about always going to Hartford, which is technically kind of UConn's home floor. So I thought that, we could bring it down to Bridgeport. Would the NCAA look at that as saying, well, it's not really a UConn home game now, and it's a little further away. But the NCAA is a business. They also know that by bringing it down to Bridgeport, they're still going to sell the place out. So we were able to get a bunch of the women's basketball regionals. And then that turned into we were getting the men's ice hockey regionals. So I got to know a lot of the people on the men's ice hockey side. And Wayne Dean, who used to be the head of the men's ice hockey committee and was the deputy athletic director at Yale University, worked with this gentleman, Steve Hagwell, who was a commissioner of ECAC hockey, and they recommended myself for the position in Philadelphia for the Frozen Four. So that's kind of how that all started. I guess right place at the right time situation, and that's probably been the pinnacle of what I've done, getting all those regionals to come to Bridgeport, because it's not really getting, Bridgeport's not a destination city, Dan.
Yeah.
It's not like we're bringing things into Chicago or Denver or Charlotte or Columbus. It's Bridgeport. But we were able to get them. And when I left Fairfield, we had gotten more NCAA championships to the city of Bridgeport than any city in the country when I had left. So the Frozen Four was a great experience for me. It's something I'll never forget. I'll probably never get another chance to do it. So I hold on to those memories dearly.
How do you find your way, like you spoke on earlier here in our Pacer Pride special on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora with Executive Director of Athletics Pat Murphy, our inaugural episode of Pacer Pride. Looking at your history and kind of your timeline, when you're working at these colleges and universities, how do you kind of find your way to looking at men's basketball, women's basketball, the Frozen Four, working with the Super Bowl in New York, New Jersey, how did you have these doors open? How did these opportunities come about? I know you're just talking about right place, right time, but you've gotten to do so much. And I know you've been humble in this conversation, but it has to speak to who you are as a leader, that when you're at these institutions, you're working within these committees that have such a giant spotlight on them and opportunity. Your resume speaks for itself.
Well, thank you for that. That's very kind of you. The truth of the matter is, there's a lot of people that can do those jobs, Dan. I just happen to have known the right people at the right time. So, for instance, the Super Bowl situation, I had worked at Iona College, and Iona had an alum who was best friends with the athletic director at Iona, a gentleman by the name of Al Kelly, who's now president of Visa, the credit card. And he was charged with running the Super Bowl in New York, New Jersey back in 2014. So he ended up hiring the athletic director at Iona, who I had a close relationship with, and that's how that happened. The regionals in Bridgeport were based on relationships I had with some people at the NCAA. We were lucky enough to get it. And with that, I got to meet the people, Wayne Dean, we co-hosted with Yale. And so it's all about relationships. It's not about myself having a skill set that other people don't have. It's just kind of getting lucky to be in the right place in the right time. And if I could say I had one skill set, it's just I think people got to figure they could get along pretty well with me to help put these events on.
In communication, teamwork, networking, this all has to do with success. I'm a firm believer that when you build a bridge, whether or not, maybe down the road you go up and down that bridge as much. I'm a bridge builder, not a bridge destroyer. So for you, teamwork and networking and always having your best foot forward and having your reputation precede you, how important and vital is that for you, and how do you establish that with the young men and women that are coming through Marywood University to say, hey, your networking, your teamwork, your ability to work well with others is always going to pay dividends for you eventually?
Yeah, absolutely. And I know you've heard this before, but I preach it all the time that, I personally don't believe in luck, Dan. I think people put themselves in a position to get lucky. And that's really through hard work. It's through your reputation. It's all that, And I tell younger people, as you're climbing the ladder, be very careful on how you treat people. And I mean everyone, because you're sure to pass them on the way down. And, unfortunately, a career isn't always like this. Sometimes it's like this, and sometimes it's like that, but eventually you can get where you need to go. So, the college athletic world is still a relatively small world. We, a lot of us know each other, and we've crossed paths in one way or another. And, I think it's always important you leave a positive, impression on people.
Absolutely. And looking back, on your time at Marywood now over these last couple of years, and to go back to Marywood University specifically, within the past year, I want to read this off to people. This is within a year's time as the Executive Director of Athletics, currently responsible for all aspects of a 23-sport NCAA intercollegiate athletic program, appointed by the president to serve on the university's senior leadership team, serving on the university's president's council, as well as on the university's budget committee, established a university esports program, as we spoke about, implemented a university-wide licensing and merchandising program, developed a corporate sponsorship program to increase department and university revenue streams, established an equity, diversity, and inclusion council within the Department of Athletics, and also serving on the Atlantic East Athletic Directors Executive Committee and the chair of the Atlantic East Athletic Directors 2021 and coming through 2022. When I read off those opportunities and, what you've done just in the last year and continuing to do, just what these mean to you, that the president, you mentioned Sister Mary Persico, what her trust in you and her faith in you from hiring you to now, as well as the Atlantic East faith in you to be a part of the, Athletic Directors Executive Committee and to be the chair of the Atlantic East Athletics Directors. There's a lot within what I just said that involves you being a leader, not just at Marywood University, but to the community around the world as a whole and to the conference as well.
Well, thanks. I appreciate that. We have a wonderful president here, and I'm very thankful that she has entrusted me and shown faith in me. The chair part of the Atlantic East, that's a revolving position. It just happened to be Marywood's turn. It didn't matter who's sitting here. They were going to get, to be the chair this year anyways. But still, it creates some challenges that take up some time. But, I'm grateful. I love all the athletic directors we have here in the conference. I love the people that I work with every day. And it's just a wonderful situation for me. I'm very happy.
And to go back to that in conclusion here, why Marywood? With all the places you've been, with all that you have done, with the many things you've spoken about, and even things beyond that you have had within your journey in this world so far, why was Marywood University the next best step for you?
I interviewed here, and I didn't know that much about Marywood, Dan. And then I came down, and I had a full day of interviews. And on the way home, I thought to myself, wow. I said they had some great facilities in place, but it really was the people. I left with such a positive impression of the people that I had met that day. From my direct boss, Amble and Chase, Sister Mary, people on her cabinet, some student athletes, the coaches. Well, they put me through the ringer a little bit on my interview. It was an all-day long interview. But I remember driving home, and it was a short drive home, about 2.5 hours to Connecticut. And I kept thinking the whole time about how great the people were at Marywood University. And when I was offered the position, I said to myself, this place is special, and it really is special. And you feel the same way, Dan.
Yeah.
You've had a great career. You've done a lot of great things, and you're a product of Marywood University. And I don't think I'm telling you something that you don't already know.
Yeah, there's something to be said about the fact, and I can't believe this as I'm sitting here today, but my first day on campus was 18 years ago. And to, look at, my career started there. I'm courtside. I developed the logo, to putting the team together, to being the commentator, the head commentator for TV and radio. We got on my network, which used to be UPN. We got on Fox. We came into the new gym and had all the pieces put in for us to run in high definition broadcasts, and just working with the original graphics for that, and seeing it still to this day, and the people that have come through, the Joe Forgiones and the Brendan Murphys and so on and so forth, and Brian Johnson's, and to see all of that and to know that that's where it began for me. If not for going to Marywood, I wouldn't be where I am today. And so I love the fact that I've really come full circle, and you've given me, and Ann Bowl and Chase and the University of Sister Mary Persico have given me an opportunity to give back through a business that I started after getting an education at Marywood, which to me, honestly, still has left me speechless and very surreal, that where I got to start my career is now where I get to go and help bring the message out and put a spotlight on a place that I love dearly.
Yeah, and thank you for that, Dan. It is a special place, and we're both lucky to have been here. We're still here.
Final note: why should a student athlete choose Marywood University? What about Marywood is so special to you?
The people here, they really care. They care for everyone. From an athletic standpoint, I've got great coaches, and you left the golf outing last week, but I acknowledge the coaches at the golf outing. I've been at 5 different schools, and I will put the staff up at Marywood University against any staff I've ever been associated with at any school, Division I or Division III, doesn't matter. The people here are wonderful. They really care. It's a safe environment. It's a beautiful campus. And I like the city of Scranton. Scranton's nice as well.
And Pacer Pride is the name of our exclusive special here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. It's a hashtag that your athletic department uses and your teams within the department use. Why Pacer Pride?
Oh, that was done before I got here. I can't really comment on it at all. You'll have to ask Andrew Smith on that.
So fair enough, but we see it all throughout. Pacers never stop. It's so many other pieces that we're seeing around campus, as you have made it a huge point to make sure that there are banners, and just the visual of Marywood University can be seen everywhere. And of course, people on Interstate 81 cannot miss the electric sign and the logo of the Pacer. So Pat, thank you for what you're doing for my alma mater. Thank you for what you're doing for us, past, present, and future, and making us truly feel like Marywood University is stepping up to the plate, asking for the spotlight, and wanting to tell their stories. And it is a great and incredible honor to be able to tell the stories that we're going to be telling, because I know that Marywood University is full of just fantastic people, and their journey at Marywood, before Marywood, and past that, there's so much to be told, and there's so much to share and talk about. And I'm happy that Marywood University is going to be front and center, and I'm very much excited about the opportunity to be a part of that, and to just be able to do this with you in the athletic department. It really has left me without the perfect words. It is Pacers Pride, and it is a beautiful thing to be able to share Marywood University with the world, because it changed my life, and I hope it's going to change a lot of other people's for the better, and I know that it will.
Yeah, it's a great place, Dan, and you're a proud alum, and you've been very good to Marywood University, and thank you for that, and it's been a pleasure to be on your show.
That coming from Pat Murphy. Plenty more coming up in Pacer Pride. every single month here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Appreciate it, Pat. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Dan.
Cafe Cabal Mobile Cafe brings the cafe experience to you. We'll roll out to your neighborhood or office, ready to serve our locally crafted espresso bar to our loyal patrons. Inquire at cafecubal.com. Cafe Cabal, coffee for the soul.
Hi, this is Amy from Mother's Cupboard, home of the whole frittata. We are open daily 6 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. For takeout orders, call 315-432-0942 and tune in to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora for our monthly food challenge and try our Wake Up Call signature menu item available 7 days a week. Here at Mother's Cupboard, we are Central New York, and it's our honor to serve you.
Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory, located on 201 7th North Street in Liverpool, is home to over 40 flavors with more than 200 flavors in their total wheelhouse. Sky's the limit for this sweet and savory Central New York company. Keep it local at your parties, fundraisers, wedding showers, baby showers, and more by calling 315-450-MA-PA. That's 315-450-6272 for popcorn bars with custom flavors and colors at your upcoming event. Make sure to visit them on 201 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York. And for more information, go to maandpazsnacks.com. Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory. How corny are you?
Here at Progressive Dental, we understand the importance of regular dental visits and preventive care. Cleanings and checkups are essential to good oral health. We have multiple locations in the Southern Tier, so come visit us in Binghamton, Enwell, Kirkwood, Montrose, and Norwich. For self-pay non-insured patients, we offer the Smile Plan, which covers all of your cleanings, x-rays, and exams for an affordable yearly price. Call 607-754-2273 or 607-754-CARE to make an appointment today. For more information, visit our website at progressivedentalny.com.
The Millhouse Market, located on 3790 New York 13 in Pulaski, New York, is worth the drive every time. Make sure you make your way out there today and every Tuesday through Saturday from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. and on Sundays from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. to try their homemade breads, desserts, quinoa bowls, rice bowls, salads, brick oven pizzas, and sandwiches named after the families that helped to settle today's Pulaski. Ingrained in our taste buds and ingrained in our community, the Millhouse Market is second to none when it comes to bringing it all together for their indoor dining as well as their general store supporting local companies within our community and their drive-through window where you can grab your food and go. Their app is incredibly precise with everything on their menu to go through very easily to see what ingredients are in each of the menu items and to have a map right there on the app to bring you to Millhouse Market from wherever you are. So while you're picking what you're going to eat, you'll have directions to get there, and you'll be able to pay contactless on the app itself, and you can tip on the app as well. You could download it on the Google Play or Apple App Store and head out to the Millhouse Market today. And make sure you get out there this weekend because every first Saturday of the month is buy one, get one brick oven pizzas, and it doesn't matter. You can mix and match anything. So mine is usually to go after the bee sting and the Utica Greens pizzas, or the bee sting and the margarita, or the bee sting and the steak and blue. You see that I'm always keeping a common denominator there. Got to get the bee sting one. So make sure you get out there today. to the Mailhouse Market. And remember, the first Saturday of every month, including Saturday, October 2nd, is buy one, get one brick oven pizzas. So buy one, get one for free. Make sure you get out to the Mailhouse Market today. 3790 New York, 13 in Pulaski, New York. Worth the drive every single time. With that being stated here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, inside of the Traffle Cafe Kubal Studios, very happy to end this week here with you. Just a tremendous week. Very happy to have this week with you. Not happy to end this week with you. And obviously we got plenty more to come, but happy to have this week with you. And thank you so much for being here with us where sports meets life on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. I want to give a shout out to Marywood University, teams that are in action. So definitely want to send you out their way and let you know for the Marywood Pacers, for those that are going out there. As far as what we have coming up this week for the Marywood Pacers, Marywood men's cross country will be at Lehigh University, Paul Short in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. They're there right now, and women's cross country there as well this morning here on October 1st. On October 2nd, men's tennis will take up against Muhlenberg College at Marywood University. So men's tennis is at home at Marywood University in Scranton, Pennsylvania this Saturday, October 2nd at 11 a.m. against Muhlenberg College. And women's tennis will play them as well at Marywood University. So a little doubleheader going on there. Men's tennis and women's tennis against Muhlenberg College this Saturday, October 2nd at 11 a.m. Eastern Time in Scranton, Pennsylvania. And then we have women's rugby this Sunday, October 3rd for Marywood University at Juniata College, Susquehanna University at Huntington, Pennsylvania at 11 a.m. Eastern Time this Sunday. And also this Sunday, October 3rd, we have Marywood women's soccer at Cazenovia College in Cazenovia, New York. So not too far away from those of you in Central and Upstate New York, and that's at 1 p.m. So you can come see Marywood in Central New York when Marywood's women's soccer team is at Cazenovia College this Sunday, October 3rd. So make sure you check that out. And then esports is getting back at it during the week on October 5th against Queen's University, Ontario, and that taking place at 8:15 p.m. Eastern Time. And to jump over to the Lemoyne College Dolphins and let you know about them here. The Lemoyne College Dolphins will be in action this Saturday, October 2nd, women's cross country at Cazenovia College Invitational. So they're coming up. Lemoyne's coming to Cazenovia as well. Women's. So kind of ironic that the Lemoyne College Dolphins and the Marywood University Pacers both going to be at Cazenovia this weekend. Women's cross country for Lemoyne at Cazenovia College Invitational in Cazenovia, New York at 11 a.m. And women's tennis will be facing off against Adelphi at Nottingham High School in Syracuse, New York for Lemoyne, and for the women's team at noon Eastern Time this Saturday, October 2nd. And then on Sunday, October 3rd, women's tennis will be against the University of New Haven at Nottingham High School in Syracuse at noon Eastern Time. So women's tennis with 2 noon times, Adelphi on Saturday, October 2nd, and University of New Haven on Sunday, October 3rd. And then men's golf is in the Northeast 10 Conference Championships, 36 holes, and that'll be going on at Concord Country Club in New Hampshire on Monday, October 4th. So make sure you check that out as well for the Lemoyne College Dolphins. And with all of that being said, folks, I appreciate you tuning in to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Thank you for being here with us every Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time on mixlr.com/wakeupcalldt, as well as wakeupcalldt.com, youtube.com/wakeupcalldt, as well as facebook.com/wakeupcalldt and facebook.com/live-now-dt. And after that, you can check our archives and search Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora on Stitcher, Spotify, MixLR, TuneIn, Podbean, iHeartRadio, YouTube, iTunes, and Apple Podcasts. So make sure you check us out there as well by searching Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, or one word, Wake Up Call DT. A big thanks to our Central and Upstate New York partners, Cafe Kubal, Carvel, DeWitt, the Wildcat Sports Pub, Progressive Dental, Chick-fil-A Cicero and Chick-fil-A Clay, Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory. Whether you're here in Florida, up in New York, or wherever you may be within the 50 states, you can order from maandpaspopcorn.com. And why wouldn't you? With so many awesome college football and NFL games, tennis, baseball going into the playoffs, so many awesome things coming up here. It is the perfect time for you to get your popcorn ready. Go to maandpaspopcorn.com and use the promo code DT20 anywhere in the United States, and you'll get 20% off on me. So that's DT20 at maandpaspopcorn.com. Big thanks to Avicoli's as well as Honda City of Liverpool, Pizza Man, the Lemoyne College Dolphins, Mother's Cupboard, Victory Sports Medicine and Orthopedics, PB&J's Lunchbox, Canine Camp Dog Daycare, the Millhouse Market, and Canine Kampground Dog Boarding. Thank you to Carvel DeWitt for the annoying moment of the week. Thank you to Juanita Ward for being my co-host, and a big thanks to Chick-fil-A Cicero and Chick-fil-A Clay for lead, learn, evolve, ad-lib, and deliver, as well as the top dog of the week brought to you by Canine Camp Dog Daycare and Canine Kampground Dog Boarding, where I celebrated on the day of his birthday, Mr. Ross Turetsky, another proud Marywood alum. God bless you, Ross, and happy birthday and happy October 1st, brother. I love you so much. And, of course, Pat Murphy, featured in our first ever edition of Pacer Pride, which you can get set to listen to exclusively and watch exclusively on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora as part of our multimedia marketing partnership with my alma mater of Marywood University, the Executive Director of Athletics, Pat Murphy, joining us today. And you can go back and watch that on Facebook.com/WakeUpCallDT as well as YouTube.com/WakeUpCallDT, and we'll be putting it up on WakeUpCallDT.com's website. So look forward to seeing you there. Thank you so much for everything. Find us on Facebook at WakeUpCallDT, Twitter at CallDT, and Instagram at WakeUpCall_DT. For now, inside the Cafe Kubal Studios, I wish you a wonderful and beautiful day. Happy October. I hope you had a very blessed September. Thank God for September and all the goodness that it brought, and hopefully it brought goodness to your life. And I hope you have a fantastic weekend and a great start to this beautiful month of October. Happy anniversary, Disney, and I'll see you out there. God bless. No stress. Do your best.